Okay, so there's this saying in Spanish that says, um, "Caminante no hay camino, camino se hace al andar." Caminante no hay camino means journeyer. There is no road. There's no map. Uh, Camino se hace al andar means we create the world as we walk. And this is really a perspective, a third person perspective that we need to graduate to now. Um, you see the transition from Pisces to Aquarius, which is what the whole 2012 thing is about, is actually that we are graduating to a what you could call a third person perspective. We are graduating. You see, as long as the fish is in the sea of Pieces, caught in the sea, it's caught in what we call the first person perspective, which is the perspective where we are looking at the world, but we are not, as it were, looking at ourselves, looking at the world. So this is where we are caught in our own projections, but unaware that there are projections. So, for instance, if I'm in a depression, I will be making everything much bigger than it is. And then I'm not aware that I'm doing that. I'm not aware that the state that I am in is creating that experience that the world is overwhelming. So, getting out of the sea of pieces, which is entering Aquarius, this is what the 2012 map is about. Those of us that are exiting the sea are basically entering the perspective, the third person perspective, which is where we are aware that we are in our own experience, that we are creating our experience. So if I'm in a depression, I will tend to experience the world as overwhelming. What this does is that I can realize that this experience of the world being overwhelming is not an inherent property of the world, but it's a byproduct of the state I am in, or what I would call a projection. And so what that does is that it removes the idea, the feeling, the experience that the world is overwhelming. As I move forward, and I can realize that this is what I am experiencing, creating, and this is so then this frees me of what would then become like a depression or a paralysis state, because I would then believe that the world is of that nature. And collectively, this is where we are caught, as it were. We are caught in such an experience based on the state we are in, and then we want to change the world as we perceive it. And this is what is fueling. This is what fuels conflicts and wars and all of, and what have you. So we are in a world right now that is incontinent because we are not aware of the fact that we are basically reacting to our experience of the world, to the way we are coloring in the world. You see, this is because all of our education is still is still stuck in what I call the first person perspective. Meaning we are learning about the world outside there, uh, as if the world were of that nature. But there is nothing as such. There's nothing independent of us, objective. The paradigms that classical science uses is still stuck in this idea that there is a world out there independent of the observer. But when the fish exits the sea of Pisces, what is really happening, so that shift to Aquarius, is that we move from that first person perspective, which is where we are unaware that what we are seeing is our own creation, to the third person perspective, where we are, as it were, looking at the way we're looking at the world, thinking about our own thoughts. And it's in that third person perspective where we then, as it were, awaken in the dream. And very much in terms of lucidity and dreams, lucid dreaming, this is where we, as it were, get the opportunity, gain the ability to create consciously something new. But if we are going to war, what it is that we are then reacting to our own interpretations of the world. And then we are, so what we're witnessing on the one hand is a group of people that are graduating to the new age, which is Aquarius, which is, as it were, entering that third person perspective, becoming aware of that they are basically experiencing their own experiences and creations. And then we have the old world, which is, as it were, the last bits of a Piscean world where we are unaware that we are stuck in our own projections, based on a conflict within the perceiver, which inevitably leads to conflicts and wars, because of this lack of mental toilet training, because of this lack of being aware that and in charge of our own perceptions, and aware that we are caught in the bubble or in the sea of our own experience. And then when we move on, so there are two worlds that are forming, and we, as soon as possible, need to change the program, what I would call the operating system, and start to teach reflection, self-awareness and self-reflection, and this is and to pull to fish the fishes up out of the sea, because within that sea, within unawareness of our own projections, there is no exit, but the creation of this incredible nightmare in our dreams, which is called which is actually what the apocalypse is, an eventual war on our own shadow projected outside of us. And the other side is graduating to this third person perspective, which is where we start to become aware that, as that beautiful saying goes, of camino se hace al andar, that by remaining aware of the fact that we are creating our perceptions, then we actually get the opportunity to change the channel consciously, and to create and to tap at a deeper level a new vision, and to create that vision by remaining out of that sea of pieces. And then you get a generation where we know that we are going to be able to create a new vision, that we are creators of it. We made this descent into pieces to become self-conscious, but it was foreseen that this would end at what you could call it as a kind of a great tribulation, because of this split of the self in opposites, duality. But at the highest point of that split, Jung also foresaw we would awaken to this realization that we are caught in our own projections. And every day you need to you need to become aware of your projections, to become aware that, okay, what I'm experiencing is my interpretation, and that will keep you out of the that will immunize you again from this polarity awareness, which is doomed to end up in conflicts and wars. And that will connect you to the deeper vision we are creating as we move forward.